Thank you for attending a public meeting. One of the village boards and commissions, specifically, this is the Council for Inclusion and Community. The procedures for sharing comments with the public body during the public comment portion of the meeting agenda are as follows.
You don't have to read that yet.
Got
You can read that when we get to that point. Let's do the roll call,
Right.
then approve the minutes, and then you can read
Got
this
it.
guy, right?
Okay. Sorry about that, everybody. Okay, so I would like to call the meeting to order. May I please have a roll call?
Raphael.
Here.
Ahmad. Elle. Here. Laura. Sakura. Anise. Amy.
Here.
Emily.
Here.
Hillary.
Here.
We have our.
We do.
Just really, just.
Just,
Just.
Because of our size.
Right. All right, so the first item on the agenda is the consideration for approval of the July 1st, 2024 minutes. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved. Second.
Let's have a voice vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Mr. Swift. Okay, up next, this is planning the meeting. I'm sorry, the next item on the agenda is public comment. This is where we allow members of the public to address this body on a topic that is within our purview and jurisdiction, but is not listed in another location on the agenda. If you would like to speak about a matter that is listed on the agenda, we ask that you wait until that agenda item is called, and we will give you the opportunity to speak then. Anyone desiring to speak should fill out a written speaker form located at the front door of the conference room and submit it to the chair, itself, or the staff liaison. This time is intended as an opportunity for you to make comments to the public body. We will listen to everything you have to say, but this will not ordinarily be the time for a discussion or engagement by us. If appropriate, we may ask staff to respond to questions or issues raised at a later date. All speakers are limited to 3 minutes. To be fair to all, we will strictly enforce this rule by displaying on one of the screens located here in the conference room. We request that all speakers be respectful, civil, and non-repetitive, and we ask that all members of the audience refrain from applauding or making any other comments during or after any speaker. Is that right? This part? Sorry, which? This is just a.
you don't have to say all of this. No, this is kind of the summary. This is the full policy. So, yeah.
So at this time, no one from the public is here, so I've not received any type of request, so I will move on to the next agenda item. Next item on the agenda is the subcommittee updates. And due to the few number of members, I don't know how much of the updates that everyone can provide. I can start with mine and Sakura's. We are part of the survey. Every question that I submit to Sakura's wrong. So
Makes it easy.
she has the experience in it. She has a much more detailed and defined manner on how to get the best results. So I'll just keep on submitting my ideas and then she can just tell me that yes or no. But we had that, unfortunately, I started a new position, she started a new position, so it's been very difficult to me.
Yeah.
That's probably the biggest part of the being summer and everything else. Guess I can move on to the next subcommittee. Let's see, would that be, should I just pick someone?
Sure.
Sure, I'll do community relations.
So it's us.
Okay.
It's you, me and Laura, but we haven't met because we're still 3. So we are still kind of waiting on direction for how to handle that.
Okay.
I think one of us needs to be moved. So,
Yeah,
okay. I mean, I can,
and you guys can volunteer somebody to do that?
I'm
or-
happy to move. I really don't care one way or the other. I don't know
I think
where.
the challenge is there's nowhere for you to go without creating the same problem elsewhere.
Right, the only problem
There
would be
is
from,
two.
well, there's a mention that we can talk about is attendance to meetings. We have a member that hasn't been here for, I think, 4 or 5 meetings. I'm not exactly sure why. So waiting to find out whether or not they still have interest. And again, voluntary group, we have kids, yes. We have kids, we have professionals, we have a lot of things, so if it's not something that's within the interest of that member, then we're simply ask that they resign. If they do, then we have that opening. Correct. And if they intend on staying, then I am more than happy to withdraw from being told I'm wrong. You can
I'm happy to work with Sasha
Jock-
if you'd like to.
She's very polite about it. I
I'm
mean,
sure she
it's-
is.
It's, I don't take this at all. So, but,
It's a great learning opportunity.
it is. It-
I know.
Because this
I
is
wanted to
really
do
her
that
specialty.
committee, so-
Yeah, same. I would be delighted to do it.
So once we get a response from our question as to whether or not that other member is interested from there, within the next 30 days, that's when I think we will then redistribute our subcommittee members.
Yeah, we can put that on the September agenda.
Okay.
Perhaps.
Great.
Um. I'm assuming that for the short run, I'm still kind of the contact with the library. And I keep thinking, I want to call and talk to them. I don't know what I would say. Like, I don't know what we have coming up that I could tell them about. So even though the committee, it doesn't have to meet, right? I can still just stay in touch so that we can keep.
Well, this is sort of a clarifying question, and I feel like we've gone back and forth about all of this, but. So there's the community relations committee that is either 2 or 3 of you. And then we had all of these liaisons.
Right.
Pre-existing.
Correct.
Assigned, so even though you, I believe, were just speaking in your capacity as community relations committee, prior to that committee, Amy was also the library
Library,
liaison.
yes.
So does that continue to be true?
I don't know. We had prepared, we
Me
had,
either, and that's
we-
kind of why I wanted to bring it out.
we had, as a subcommittee, had a conversation about that, and I had circulated an Excel spreadsheet listing who I believed the existing liaison was, and then whether that person wanted to maintain that relationship or transition it. Don't think that ever went anywhere. I don't know if that was even, I think the next meeting I wasn't able to be here. I don't even know if it was presented. I don't. And now it's all
Yeah.
changed,
There's
right?
also that as well.
So there's,
right.
because there's been a change in the council composition, so I'm happy, we can address that
So.
once we have some clarity maybe, and
Yeah,
who's.
well, and in the meantime, I mean, I know for me, because I was liaising.
So will you liaise with any, will you be
Like I
on any
continue,
committee?
like I work with the Writers Theater
Right.
still, I work
I
with
know.
St. Paul still, and I'm happy, I mean, that's my favorite part of the job, so.
We could recirculate, I love that, recirculate that
Yeah.
and then see if we're missing
Right.
gaps and.
If you.
But I just wanted to make sure I wasn't like doing something.
But there
else
is a
as well.
little overlap. I mean, you and
Yeah.
I both talk with them.
Yeah.
You do not need to go, if we wanna use people well,
Who do
You're
we
gonna
both
keep-
talk with?
with Grace and or
Oh.
Andy.
Yeah,
is
I
what I'm
don't
saying.
speak with them though in a meaningful way.
Okay,
know, it just-
but I'm just saying, if we wanna use people efficiently, we don't necessarily need
Have
to
to
have
have
two.
tools,
You do
yeah,
a
for sure.
great job knowing what's coming because of the event thing and whatever, but I'm,
So my suggestion is that once we have some clarity on whether
Yeah.
we're moving, shifting through committees, who's doing what.
Yeah.
We can touch base and sort of update that list as needed and then circulate it for next month. Is
For
that
sure.
fine?
Yeah,
That's awesome.
that's great.
I didn't mean to like ask a loaded question or like a question that I sort of knew the answer to, but I wasn't sure that everyone was on the same page.
Nobody's on the same page.
Okay, good.
There is no page.
Now
Yeah,
we're
that's it.
a little bit on the same page.
It's a pamphlet.
There we go.
Awesome.
Next, the subcommittee, just Eleanor's here, communications, anything
Yes,
new?
we've got a couple of things that are new. So first of all, we've got that whole like 12-month rolling cycle of posts that we wanted to do on Instagram and other places. And we had the conversation with Phil, Emma, and Simon and Ben. So we have a full year of what to post. I think what we should do is circulate to the board.
Oh, we actually have it, that we can throw it up on the screen.
Oh, yeah,
if,
that'd be great.
We can look at it.
Yes, yes, so we should, and then the idea here is, the other thing that we're missing though is we want, Phil had an idea to connect with Family Services Glencoe to make sure that, you know, that things like mental health,
Yeah,
like
yeah,
that we're aware of
absolutely.
that. Yep, so this is the full year.
And I just summarized it in this document
Yeah,
because it
no,
was a
this is
little
great,
easier.
thank
Yeah.
you,
Wow.
yes. So we are now, we just submitted for I think it's August,
and
September.
yeah.
Yep, and then hopefully by the middle or early September, Denise and I will do probably October, November, December altogether.
Finish up here.
And then the idea here is like, you know, like folks should have a chance to view this. We know we're missing things.
Yeah.
It's based on Heritage Month. We didn't do things for mental health awareness, but hopefully with partnership with Family Services Glencoe, we'll just pepper in other things as well.
And that just makes good sense, like
Yeah, that's
the
right.
difference,
That's right.
like if
Yeah.
we tracking off the community
Mhm.
relations piece.
Yeah.
You know, all of our community partners have things
Mhm.
that they like for us to
Yeah.
push out on social media, and if we could sort of encourage them
Right.
to
Mhm.
maybe with an eye towards inclusion.
Yeah,
that-
yeah.
That would make
That's
really
right.
good sense.
Yeah, that's exactly right. The whole theme here is inclusion, community. We welcome you, Glencoe welcomes. So, and we try to tie it back to the District 35 survey if we can, but if not, yeah. If we also know that there are people here from, you know. And the last thing is that if, let's say, it's a month that celebrates a certain heritage, the idea is to post it at the beginning of the month, like the first, that's the other piece. And then nothing political, obviously, nothing religious, and then that's pretty much it. So. Yeah. Okay,
Yeah,
cool,
yeah,
yes.
that's
great.
But we
Thank
should
you so
circulate
much.
it
Will you
anyway so that you can
circulate
see
it?
it.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
will send it.
yeah. And then the other thing that's really fun feedback, or like to update, is that the last time we were here together, we were talking about, hey, what kind of events should we do? And Anise and I were like, oh, what about like, because we talked with Phil and honey butter fried chicken, and Raquel said, well, why don't you guys go and run with it? So we did. So we're excited to say that we talked to the honey butter fried chicken people. Hillary was with us as well.
I mean,
and
we're always a
Sarah.
trivia night.
Yes, we went and tested out trivia
Was it
night.
fun?
It was fun. It
Yeah.
was pretty intense though.
Was
I
it
mean, like,
intense?
oh my
Yeah.
God, yeah. It's just a big
Literally,
great one.
TFL, like,
Oh my
it's
God.
hard.
Okay,
Yeah,
I'll give
it's
you an
hard.
example. One of the questions, these are all like, you know, like rock bands and TV shows, but they're tied to the periodic table.
Like it's
Oh,
very
oh.
nice.
Iron
That's
Maiden,
intense.
Golden Girls.
Oh,
we were
sure,
like,
yeah.
"What?" Yeah,
Cool.
but it was really fun. And so, the date that we've settled on is August 22nd.
Okay.
You know, Ben and.
They do it once a month,
They
right?
do.
Or once a
Oh,
week.
They do it
sorry.
every Wednesday.
Yeah, but we're
We
gonna
were talking
block
about once
August
a month.
22nd
Yeah,
as our
yeah.
first date.
Cool.
They're gonna block off the patio for like a loose reservation for us. So Hillary, you know like how we were so swooshed?
There
We're
was,
gonna try
yeah,
and do it
it's
as a
tasty.
screen
And
on
I
the
will say,
patio.
I think generally, like, I've just noticed recently people asking me about it, which is a total coincidence,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
have you ever heard about this trivia night? I'm like, oh yeah,
Oh,
we
I
go whenever we
know.
can,
Right,
it's so fun,
right.
so I think
Yeah.
it's starting to fill,
Yeah.
like, it was pretty busy
Mhm.
that night.
Yes, because we also see that like you and I were there.
Yeah.
Anise brought her friends and family, and we had like 8 teams, but I think we could do even better. So the idea here is like, we'll have like
How
a.
does that work? I
Oh,
know,
okay.
yeah, I don't quite
So,
know how that.
I don't know whether we can
participate.
bring up on screen what we discussed or whether it's too rough, but the idea here is like,
Oh,
we'll show up about 6. We'll say, hey, come and mingle from 6, and then trivia starts at 7. We'll have the name tags. Actually, I took that idea from you, and you remember like we were doing our neighborhood gathering, and you
Oh,
and Harvey
yeah.
had like the stick-on things. I thought that was really cool. So we'll have people like, if they're willing to, like put down like, my name is whatever. And then they'll be like mingling beforehand. And then they have a trivia master that they bring in like every Thursday.
Okay.
And what we're gonna do is we're gonna seed a few questions that are specific to Glencoe.
Oh,
Oh, and then we're gonna have like a couple of, a few Glencoe themed gifts from Black Sheep.
That's right, yeah.
And then Anise is in Glencoe, Scotland, so she bought a couple of things.
Oh,
Glencoe, yeah, she did. She got a Glencoe from, you know, hat, like
Yeah.
a little, like, I don't know, but it's gonna be fun. And so we'll put the prizes out and be like, come and join our trivia.
Do we want, are people gonna be in, like, so, like, when you go to trivia night, this is, I have to remember that you don't all do a separate week. People form teams, and so, like, usually, like, my husband and I are just our own team.
Yeah.
But other people bring like 12 people, which really is a much better idea, because it's 12 brains, but.
12 against 2 and then.
Totally.
whatever.
Yeah, but you know, the 2 are like
Yeah.
high brain power.
Yeah.
You left early and you were still number 6 out of 8, just so you know.
Oh, good,
Like,
yeah, we
your
actually
points
bumped
are
up the
pretty
spot
high.
from 7 out of 8, yeah, it was.
And so
And you weren't
everyone,
even
for
there.
example,
This is-
everybody has a
Something
chance
about-
to answer.
Yes,
the
yes, so
question.
you form little teams and I think the patio is good to
Could
be
we
set
do
up.
like mixed
Yes, we
teams,
should,
like
we
the
should.
community?
And
is
that's
that
why
too
we were
nuts?
wondering, like, if GCIC members, first of all, whatever you deem in terms of advertising, you should invite all your great listserv, you know, with the
Yeah,
neighbors.
we'll definitely
Have them
push it
come.
through.
And then like, we could come a little earlier and we could meet and mingle and encourage people to form mixed group teams. to
Yeah.
get to know each other,
Yeah,
yeah, cause you know, the patio is good set up that way,
That's
they're
so
like
great.
these benches.
Mhm.
And then let's see how it goes, and then,
And what,
Maybe-
people raise their hand or how
oh
does it?
no, so they give you a
No.
piece of paper and you fill in your answers and you tear it off. And you
Okay,
give it back to the.
oh,
And
okay.
then
So
each
the
has
task
their-
force that way.
cause you
Kind
could,
of an honor system.
like, we don't use it.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah,
I
I,
believe it, people are very
no, people
serious.
don't, yeah, they really don't.
Yeah, there was a group there who clearly they come every week.
Uh-huh.
Like, not from Glencoe.
No,
I don't mean
Trivia.
just too young to live.
And
here.
it
Yes.
doesn't cost anything to be in it?
just come.
Yes,
Just a
not-
fun
Get some
thing.
chicken,
Yeah, and hope
get some.
Have a
yeah.
drink or two.
Yeah,
or
trivia
something.
Trivia doesn't cost anything, but that,
Yes.
so how do we wanna do that?
Oh, let's say like if-
Food, margaritas. that
Yes, so Christine from Honey Butter Fried Chicken, she's gonna staff up the bar in the back. She
Nice.
can order food there too. She's gonna make clear that there's signs coming in.
Yeah.
That, you know, you can order at the bar, cause like if you order at the front, there's only one cash register.
It takes
So it'll
forever.
take
Takes
forever,
forever.
yeah.
And we're not paying for anything, right?
No.
It's just, right,
Yes.
just to
Yes.
clarify.
So that's my question. The GCIC isn't paying for anything,
No.
so people will have to pay for themselves.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we can include that in the messaging.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just to be clear that it's not like margaritas.
Yes.
last.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even though they're half price.
Go play trivia and buy yourself a drink.
Yeah.
Yeah, really, yeah.
Meet your, I think we have like a little, like, do we have the write-up of like what the advertising would look like, you know, like that Word document that we were working on?
Yeah.
Is it possible
I
to
don't know
bring
if
that
it's
up?
been
I
finalized
don't know
yet.
whether we can
That's
just
like
quickly
in
look at
US
that.
Been finalized, but I can. Do you have it?
Yeah, soon.
Yeah, it's really.
Out of town.
Oh,
Yeah.
we're doing
Yeah, I
it.
may
You
not.
know, I like what you said the other time, Marcel, when you were like, hey, events, maybe we should, like, everybody should come up with an idea and whoever wants to take it can run with it, because everything on one events team might be so burdensome, you know, like,
Especially now, it's,
Just me.
It's just the way.
oh, yes, yeah.
Sorry,
That's why I'm thrilled you guys have decided to do this.
Yeah, I think it'll be so fun and like, we'll see where it goes. You could do other things, you know, like I love that idea that, I can't remember who had that for newcomers, maybe we'll get bagels and coffee at Writers Theater and just tell them all about like, you know, here's the women's cookbook.
Yeah, there's the women's library
Yes,
club.
the women's
And the
library.
cookbook
club.
club.
Yeah,
There's a cookbook club that's been created.
That's been
Yes.
We
getting
were
some
talking about
buzz.
that last month.
Oh, yeah. Ooh,
I'm not involved, but per my neighbor. And your wife, right? Isn't that-
She went to,
She
she
went
went,
to,
she
okay.
went to the.
The one at the
I think
beach,
Last one,
yeah.
last one, at the beach. She said it was, it was very nice.
yeah.
So do you need a certain number of us
Oh,
to be there?
I think as many as possible to show up from 6 and just
Back
kind of
control.
like work the crowd.
6
Yeah,
o'clock. so
yeah,
I
don't
don't think I
think
can be there.
Yeah.
Either,
Cool.
so I just want to be sure that those who.
And if you could scroll down, Ben, to like the advertising part of it, like what we're gonna be doing. Like, I mean, that's kind of like the framing of it, like join us, you know, council for Glencoe Trivia Night at Honey Butter Fried Chicken on this date. And then sharing the date, meet and mingle from 6, stay for trivia at 7. And then we'll say, enjoy half price margaritas and nachos, so it's clear, like.
Oh,
And you can say on your own,
got it,
yeah,
Yeah.
in parentheses.
Yes, yeah, bring your credit
Their own
card,
half
yes.
price.
Yeah.
Fun.
Yeah, and then like I love like all those ideas of like posting at
Mhm.
in the library, like
Yeah,
flyers
yeah,
around
yeah.
town and then of course the power of us like emailing our neighbors
No, it really
could
sounds.
be fun.
Are they gonna do we know, are they planning to do this into like the non-summer months?
Yes,
They
they
are,
can do it
okay.
until the non-summer months, but it's up to us whether we want to do another round or maybe we want to spread the love, you know, like do something at Writers, do something at Hometown,
Mhm.
I don't know.
I mean,
Yeah.
probably just
Yeah.
see how
Yeah.
it draws,
Yeah.
whatever.
Sammy is out of the office today. She'll be back tomorrow, so we'll check in with her on where things stand with it, but it's pretty straightforward stuff to pull together, so we'll send that to you. So we can get that finalized and
Great,
We've got some real rough drafts, but she's the pro.
she is the pro.
awesome, yeah. And then we'll post on North Shore Moms Group as well.
Okay.
I'm Glencoe parents.
Oh, can we post on Glencoe? Yes.
Yeah, I can add you to
That'd
it.
be really awesome, yeah.
That's a good one.
Yeah, that's a good one, yeah.
Yeah, I'm on that one.
Oh, that's cool.
The parent.
Okay, yeah, and then Lily and I can email our the neighborhood group, Janice and Greenleaf, see if they'll come and. Yeah. You bring your extravaganza neighborhood film.
Seriously, right?
Tell us little kids.
It's like,
how
no,
I'm feeling.
Lots of
no,
children running
but
around.
Yeah.
Fun.
Yeah.
So.
They're working
From some young
kids.
kids.
I know where that's coming from. I totally get it.
There was one little kid though, right?
Like
There
there
was-
was, there was maybe 2 little kids at trivia night.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Cause they were,
High
how
questions.
old are they? Like, teenage and above or not even?
There was a family that I know
Yes.
who was there with their 2 kids. The older one is in 6th grade or
Uh-huh.
gonna be in 6th grade, so pretty young and but they weren't like really
No.
playing.
Because they were
But it
taking
also
out.
wasn't the kind of thing where it was like, you know.
No,
Right,
yeah,
right.
it just was.
It
over
It's just
their head
harder.
kind of.
Super
Adult-
casual,
adult
harder for the
level
parents.
questions.
Yes.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, I'm
I
trying to
think
get
it's
that.
great.
Yeah.
I would love to do it.
This we should.
She won't know the answers, but she gets into the game.
Oh,
She likes to-
yes, gaming is huge.
It's
Cool.
very active.
Great progress.
game,
Yeah.
life
And-
game
Oh,
style.
right.
Okay, sounds great, Al, thank you very much. August 22nd, that is the week that, I'm getting rid of, I'm sorry, I'm moving my son to college. So,
Oh.
it's gonna be,
Rid of yourself.
he moves in the Tuesday before my wife and daughter are coming back, and then I'm gonna stick around because that's what I'm told I have to do.
You can get a fair number of orders.
I got your instructions.
And then the orientation, in case something happens, that comes up Friday, Saturday, and we're driving back, so I will not be there, but I'll encourage. I'll see if,
Jackie and
if
Elena might
if
come.
wifey and daughter would wanna go.
Yeah. that's
My-
really
my-
cool.
My 2-year-old daughter's kind of mean, so I don't know, she's gonna get a little bit too into it, throw elbows. So.
All right.
And like.
I was gonna say, she and my oldest.
Wouldn't that be a good mail
company with
for
one
people
another.
that are
Great
friends to
ideas.
the library?
Mhm.
If she went,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
somebody kind of
So-
talk to Grace and or Andy and like,
Yeah.
hey, look, this is.
I mean, I think that that's great. I can also
Maybe
see
you
that
are better
being
because you've been and you do it.
the sort of thing that might not be into. I don't, it's always, it's a little hard for me to predict with Grace because she likes notice. So right
Right.
away, I'm like,
This
she's
is
2
not like
weeks
that.
and she's
But
not gonna like
all that they really
Um,
are not needing to do anything, but
But I do feel
I
like they're
guess
always great
post
about
it.
like cross promoting, like
Right.
thanks for
For sure.
sustainability task
Yeah.
force and whatever. So I think it's worth asking.
Yeah.
But so
And
whenever,
get
it sounds like
maybe-
the copy
It's
is,
synced from
Momentary.
Sammy.
Yeah, we'll have it
Yeah.
tomorrow.
Okay,
okay.
perfect. And then if we all get it, then we can all get, yeah.
So-
Yeah.
Do you wanna, will you?
so I will send it to the library and writers in St. Paul, although I'm guessing they're not gonna be super interested in this, but and then
Do better.
And then you post on Glencoe parents and I'll.
No,
put
sure.
it on.
No,
Sure.
I don't know. Let's just do this. You
I'll just
say
send
she
it to,
likes
I'll send it
things
to
down
Andy
there.
and Grace.
Yeah.
So like, hey, just thought you should know.
And I can certainly follow up, like later in the meeting, and say, what do you think this, it's just I haven't done it, I can't be quite as,
Right, so,
you know.
okay.
No,
I don't either.
I got it.
Up like.
No problem.
Alright, next up, subcommittee is events, Hillary. That's your.
Yeah, not much.
Much of an update.
We can talk about the fourth.
Well, I would, what I
And
would like
actually,
to
one
hear,
thing came up that I wanted
I don't
to
know
ask
if this is redundant, but because you all met on July 1st and I wasn't, July 1st, whatever day it was, and I wasn't here, but I would love like the briefest recap of anything from June that in terms of events, and then July 4th, that would be great. June.
All of the donuts
Surprise.
were gone. The sidewalk says Raphael didn't have to eat them.
I know, it was incredibly warm. I turned the corner, soccer is there, and I was expecting to see several boxes of donut holes. But we had, boxes of dozens and dozens of donuts, like donuts. It was very well received. People were more than happy to take the donut holes. We said we're not collecting information or asking,
Right, totally.
or asking for credit card numbers or emails. They melted. Boston cream donuts have a tendency to stick to the lid, so
The
just as
Boston
a,
creams.
just as a future reference.
Um,
A lot of people asking us who we are, who we were, what we were about, only when Joanne really asked me several questions, didn't really believe that we were not, we may not have a political ideology behind our motives. Other than that, many people were running and I couldn't convince them to get a donut after their run, so that kind of was unfortunate. We did walk around, we did introduce ourselves to the vendors and offered the donut to people that were walking by. A couple kids that were selling baseball cards, they were our repeat customers.
Nice.
The only thing that came of interest was the New Trier Democrat Committee. We were in front of over by a wild shop.
Okay.
So I was passing around donuts, introduced ourselves and who we were, and they said they never heard of us. So I said, that's fine. We meet, back then it was the first Wednesday of every month, invited them to come join. Told them that we are not strictly DEI because it's the first thing they said. Told them that it's not the concentration of the community, of the council, but to be a more welcoming and inclusive environment. So aside from that, Soccer and I were actually out of there before 11:30. So we were able to really, and it was a lot of donuts. It was, yeah, it was a lot of boxes.
Wow.
So no, I didn't have to eat any here. So yeah, it was
So worth doing it. sounds
Yes.
like.
Yeah.
That's great.
because
I think that's
but this is the best weather we've had
Yeah.
in 3 years. And you can tell because not as many vendors, it seemed like were here as there were last year, but last year it was raining for 2 days.
Yeah, that's right.
So it was, I think the weather was a tremendous factor in it. So,
Yay.
but that was good. That was really good. And I think that's all we did for June, wasn't it?
I was at the other event, so I know about that. And then, yeah, 4th of July, I would love to hear about that.
Yeah, I thought it was great. We had a game this year instead of just coloring.
Tell me more about that.
Yes,
What happens when smarter people get in charge?
just people with small kids. I got one of those like fishing rod games with the little fishies and little magnets.
It was a queue of kids wanting to play this.
We
game.
lined up. Yeah, the whole time.
Yeah.
So, that was a hit. I also got Dum Dums. Also a hit.
Also,
Although then there were like, I went home with like 100 and my kids were like, these are for us. I was like, no, they are property of the village and they're going back to the village.
stickers, but they can't.
I said, you
There's
can take two.
probably, there was like these low tops I bought
Oh,
that's
for the year, for the Highland Park year.
Yeah.
And and I tied little ribbons.
Oh
that
my
said,
God.
"Glencoe comes around," on 500 little cups. None of
Yeah,
them
no,
got
I didn't
taken.
do that. I wasn't doing
She
that.
didn't ask for help.
Yeah.
She didn't.
I'm like a little.
Yeah, I felt like people stopped and chatted.
Yes.
People took, we had the postcards, a few
Mhm.
people took those.
Nice.
We had bracelets.
Yeah,
Those were gone.
they were gone.
Yeah.
And also
It's same with
the,
us.
Are we done with bracelets?
That I don't
I
know.
No.
think not.
We'll never be
Because
done.
if you remember,
I was
we
like,
got,
Those could be consolation
We got
prizes.
two.
At trivia night.
Yeah.
because
I'll
the
think
first
about it.
ones weren't quite the right colors.
So then we had a second.
So then they sent us a whole second batch and said, keep the first one, so we got lots.
Yeah.
You know, I was surprised
I
that the
like them.
bracelets were
Handy.
taken and also the stickers, the
They love
prize
the
stickers.
stickers.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
I love the
People
stickers.
love that, and we
Every
also
year.
had 4th of July stickers, but they were equally.
Equal, yeah.
Equally, so that was cool.
A few people, I felt like a few people asked us who we were there with, right?
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
wanted to
But most
talk.
of them, they were just like focusing on the kid, you know, like getting the
Yeah,
fish.
I mean,
But because of that, I was like, hey, you know, that great tablecloth, we should just put Glencoe welcomes in.
Yeah.
Which is what
We're
they're
ordering,
gonna
yeah.
do for.
oh, awesome.
Or
Trivia,
Oh, great.
yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
It's in production.
So that we don't know who we are without like,
I love that.
Yeah.
That's great.
yeah.
Plus that table cloth is long in the tooth.
No,
You
this
got new
is
ones.
okay. This is
You got
this
new
is
ones.
clean one. Yeah, this is pretty
They're
good.
stretchy now,
Stretchy.
And then
stay-
Yeah, we
attached
have
under the
one.
foot,
That was so.
I watched that one after.
I watched it, everyone's like.
After the donut incident.
It was
Oh.
bad.
That one
It was-
needed
it was-
love.
it was-
I took that one
It
home.
was, we tried to.
It got watched thrice, if my memory serves.
And then we took it out the next time and we were like, this needs to be watched. Like, it's just, it was just time. I'm so happy to hear that.
Is there anything else?
No, I thought it was.
There were a
You
lot
said
of
there was
people.
one thing.
Yeah, there was one issue that came up, so, somebody came up and this is somebody I know, like, parents of somebody I grew up with here. And they said, there are these new signs in the park, in the parks, saying that you can't sleep here overnight. What is that about? That doesn't feel very inclusive or welcoming. And I said, I didn't even know. I haven't
knew.
seen those. Yeah. And I assume that was following the
It's the park
court,
district.
the court ruling. Was that,
It's Park District policy that's been long standing.
is there a recent case?
There is a recent
Right,
case,
so
yeah,
that's-
but this, I think the signs went up before that
Oh,
Supreme
interesting.
Court ruling.
Okay, I assumed it was after that.
Yeah,
Me too.
yeah.
And I
was like,
said,
that was fast.
I said, you know what, I really don't know. I haven't even seen them yet, but I'll
send you
ask.
I have not seen them.
Park District policy,
Okay,
Park District property, so,
so they're in all the parks in the,
they're not.
Okay.
They are in, Lakefront Park, they are in Cock Park Veterans Memorial. I think at Watts also, but I'm not sure off the top of my head.
yeah, I just wanted to raise that because somebody raised it to me.
Okay.
So unfortunately, it's nothing that you can advise the.
I'll pass it along to the Park District.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a little bit their policy, hasn't it?
It has.
Yeah, I
so
think it's
they
just like
haven't
something
had
about the wording.
signs. They haven't had signs.
It just, it's because I think they just went up recently.
Yes, I think it was sort of
And
new.
So for those of us who are in those,
Yeah.
like, there's an intersection that I'm always at, cause I always
Okay,
run
that's
through
where we
it.
see it.
And I was like, right. But before it could have been like a week,
Yeah.
a month, right? But it's,
Yeah, that was the only
Is the village hearing?
semi-relevant feedback I got.
to ask
Or-
Not really.
No.
I know people have talked about it, but it's not really something that's generated a lot of conversation for us, because I do think people recognize, people recognize
already,
it's a
right?
park district, it's got the park district branding on it, so I think if there are questions, they're going to the park district with them.
Regarding the fence, perhaps after August 22nd, we sort of put our heads together and see.
Like a team brainstorming, because I think there were all these great ideas that they haven't been really documented, but yeah.
And then we'll have sort of a basis for
Yeah.
like, oh, well, what was really great is this happened,
Yes.
but then
Yeah.
it didn't work because this happened.
I also wonder if there's something, in between, like, so previously, I think there's an event and then we are part of it. But now we're like, hey, there's something that we can also ride on, but have more of a presence.
Mhm.
And we go to where the people are. So like, for instance,
That's a
like,
great model.
Friends Park is just like crowded, isn't it? Like kids and family every weekend. Maybe we just do a family set, a pop-up, exactly, a pop-up. Yeah, go to where they are.
Come to Duke Park.
Oh,
my
yes.
gosh.
Oh,
Totally.
just
That's
covered.
super popular.
Yeah, mhm,
And especially on the weekend before noon.
right.
Yeah, let's
Right.
get a day to do
Yeah.
popsicles and then it'll
Oh,
be
that's
55 degrees,
Right,
right?
right. Or do coffee and have a
Do we still have all those suckers?
Oh, I'm
Yeah,
sure we
yeah.
do.
I'll be gone like that.
However,
Yep, they will.
There's
Oh,
a
it's
to show
just
the
saying,
10
Like,
Yeah, right.
ready. I mean, we could have like 2 or 3, I don't know.
2 or
there's-
3 little ideas, yeah.
Well, or even like. I just think we could call an audible probably on like a
Yes.
popsicle thing. I feel like we
Yes.
could have like 2 or 3 options
Yes.
and then
Yeah.
just say that.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
I was trying to,
Okay.
there's like before school starts,
There's Labor Day weekend. And that is
Labor Day is the second.
Second.
What about National Night Out? Was that last weekend?
No.
Oh, it's tomorrow.
Who's ready for popsicles tomorrow?
You know, things
Yeah,
like this,
yeah.
like for next year,
Yeah.
we
like
should be
people-
ready for
I think That's
that.
a great idea.
Admittedly, National Night Out is fledgling right now, so it'll need to grow next year, but it's police focused. It's outreach day. That's
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
simply what it
Yeah.
is. I mean, it's a fun opportunity to let
Yeah.
kids climb around in
Oh,
squad
but
cars.
it's kid related, because
That's
it's
great.
not, you know, it's on some
Yeah.
adults were using it
I
as
would
a.
tell you, adults are just as interested in the squad cars as the kids.
For sure.
Oh, so that's what it is, okay.
Yeah.
It's like it's a bit of like a touch a truck event plus. So there'll be food, there'll be
What's the time tonight?
7 to
Seven.
9, probably not that late. I guess.
So we'll be suspicious if I has to be put in the back of a cruiser.
Oh, no. We'll have.
You want an experience,
We'll
can I
have
get
one, waiting for you.
I'm certain that I did that with my kids when they were little. It's like, oh,
There you go. Okay, I think that is the last of these subcommittee updates. So at this time, it is time for a public comment. If there was someone here to discuss anything discussed on that agenda under subcommittee, there's nobody here. So I will be moving forward unless anyone has anything else under subcommittees. No? Okay. I guess just for a sense of expectations and goals. In the month of August, I will email the member to find out if there is a response, not a response to the interest of staying within the council and being in the group. If there isn't, then we will then discuss, send an email to find out who wants to go where. If it wants to be a rearrangement, that way we can send out the Excel spreadsheet and that way responsibilities are divvied out. I know it's summer, but I feel it's like we're kind of like a little bit of a standstill, kind of a holding pattern, mainly because of a lot of traveling and all those wonderful things. So I hope come September, we can better define everyone's roles and goals. That way we can push forward what we're trying to do. But I thank everyone, of course, for all your time and effort. I know that a lot of times this isn't well, I would say it's a thankless job, but it's most certainly something that can come up a little more tedious and time consuming than what you once thought. So thank you very much for that. Moving on to the next issue, it is other business. This is a time in the agenda that we discuss things that are not placed on the agenda. If anyone has anything they would like to share or bring. I do. Hillary was awarded a big award. Yeah, I knew you were gonna say by St. Paul.
Oh.
And we were a guest and we were there with Hillary as well as other members from the community as well as members of the congregation of St. Paul. That was on Saturday. And it was Denim and Diamonds event, which I had no idea what it was. So I got
Your bedazzled outfit.
I had a whole jean jacket and everything. No, I didn't know all came, so.
It's called the Canadian tuxedo.
Yeah. But one of the interesting things that you guys should know is that the Glencoe Historical Society received an incredibly prestigious award about their exhibit of Black history. They received it. The Abraham Lincoln Museum in Springfield received it. And the third one was another.
The Illinois History Museum.
Which is also.
Is that on the website?
Wow.
Like, should we do an Instagram post about that?
I think that's a great.
Yeah, I think
Yes.
we've been following the Historical Society's lead because not a lot of information has come out. And I think I'm meeting with Karen Edelson this week, so I'll
Okay.
talk to her about it.
So, I mean, just might be like a nice, like.
We will do
Council
it,
for Inclusion
but I'd like to
Community
let them
Congratulates.
take the lead on announcing their own award before we do.
But Hillary's
That's
award was being an advocate and for including and being open to St. Paul's communications, ongoing issues or worries or concerns. So it was a beautiful.
It's very nice.
Really, I'm gonna call it paper. It was like almost like a trophy. I don't know what you call it.
Yeah.
So it was very, very pretty.
That's so nice. It's very, very nice.
Well
Thank you.
deserved.
It did give us the opportunity to talk to some members. And Joe, who was sitting next to me, would like to know what's being built across the street from the church. And I said I had no idea what would be, but
Across
something
the
was
street.
being built.
So I know you all spend a lot of time following the land commission and all of, watching the village board meetings, et cetera, on the corner of Washington and Green Bay. There on the south side, there's a little park next to St. Paul's. There's a little park and a big apartment building. On the north side, there is a house on Green Bay, and then there's 3 little lots right next to it. They're all owned by the same person. So that,
The house and the lots?
Yeah.
all of it.
There
So
are,
there's,
there are actually 4 houses on the lots, but they're,
Okay,
but they're
all owned by
like,
the
3
same
of them
person.
are tiny and like
They're all
in
pretty tiny.
disrepair and
on
so,
Green Bay.
no, on
On
Washington,
Washington.
so right across from
Yes,
St. Paul.
got it.
And I think they are understandably a little bit nervous. I am having these conversations with them as well, but I think it would be good to get the facts out there. So, as of this moment, what has been approved is the owners of these properties want to take down the small houses that are on the Washington side, not the slightly larger house that's actually on Green Bay. They want to do that so that on the closest side to St. Paul versus the Green Bay side, I mean, I could draw this and it would make a lot more sense.
so
but-
we could probably just pull up the site plan if you want.
So the ones that are,
The
The
ones that
furthest
are
west
closer to
on
St. Paul,
Washington,
the
yeah.
furthest west will be taken down, and then they want the couple who owns that property wants to build a new house on that property. But they wanna live in their current house on Green Bay while
While
they
they
do
build.
it. And then the thought is they'll move into the new house and they will wanna get rid of the other parcels. And so the question is, you know, what will happen to those parcels when they sell them? Like, will it be something that generates a lot of traffic in the neighborhood? Will there be parking needs, et cetera? None of that has been decided yet because all they were doing was getting permission to tear the houses down so they could build the new house.
So
But they're
just
anticipating.
to add to that, all of those properties are zoned for multifamily. It's unique, that whole half a block is zoned multifamily. So they subdivided, kind of consolidated and subdivided the parcels, so they will build their house at one end, and as Hillary said, there's questions still relative to the
The other parcel.
east end of the block, which is still zoned multifamily.
The member of the church was asking me if it was a municipal building that was coming up, and I was like, I don't think so.
No. But I talked to Pastor Hayes at the bio about it, and there seems to be they're very fixated on the parking concerns. But as of this moment, nothing has been determined about what will happen other than the new house that's being built, which should only improve things, I would think.
I would say that anything that's built is going to accommodate its own parking.
Well, that's
So-
required by our zoning.
Right, that's what I mean, so, I mean, I think they're probably concerned about whether there's going to be any changes to the parking restrictions on the street, which I don't think anybody's anticipating.
I wonder if it's as simple as worrying about the construction.
I don't know, I'm happy to call her, I haven't, honestly, I haven't heard anything about their concerns, so I'm happy to talk to them about kind of the process and what we anticipate. It's not gonna happen immediately. It's gonna be a bit of time still, the house still has to be designed and permitted, none of that's happened yet.
But I was wanting to give recognition to Hillary because it wasn't, she was only one of 3 people that got the award, so
Yeah,
congratulations.
Congratulations. That's so nice.
Nice, thank you very much.
Okay.
This is not our committee stuff, but is it possible just for 1 second to find out what, all of a sudden the Hoover property is being cleaned out? You know, that thing, are they just, is that through, I thought that group had stopped, are they back to?
No, they've sold it,
Okay,
the development is gonna be built as it was approved in 2020.
so add those single family.
Yeah, it's 29 single family lots. So the work that is started, yeah, it's
Wow.
13 and a half acres, it's a large
That's a
site.
big-
Yeah, it's a large site, and you can tell now that,
Yeah.
trees are starting to come
Yeah.
down, how large it really is.
Oh
But yeah, so there's gonna be, the process is that they are going to begin installing all of the public improvements. So that's the stormwater system, the street, the sidewalk, the underground utilities. And then once that is substantially complete, they will begin vertical construction. So what's different is the original developers were gonna actually build the houses. Now what they're doing is they're selling the lots, and so it's gonna be a kind of a bring your own builder type of a situation instead, so. But it will be, it's a public street, there's been a lot of questions, it's gonna be gated, is it gonna be it's not, it's a public street. It will be a cul-de-sac, a large cul-de-sac, but, and then there's gonna be a pedestrian connection to Northwood Drive, which is the furthest north street on Green Bay Road, off of Green Bay Road. But yeah, it's and there's gonna be pretty substantial improvements to the Wesley Green Bay Road intersection. So Wesley Road right now has this really wide mouth, which is gonna narrow down, and it's gonna become kind of a plus sign intersection, which will change and
With the
I think
lights.
improve. No light. But there will be a speed limit reduction to the north of it, and actually as you approach from the north going south, the lanes will shift down to 2-lane considerably sooner than they do
Oh,
right
then
now.
it does right now. That
Yeah.
makes sense.
Yeah, so.
No stop sign either. Sorry.
Mhm.
So speaking of buildings though, oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
The Korean church that's on
Mhm.
Green.
Oh, yeah.
Is
Do
it
we know what's happening?
Wait, what do you mean?
No
What's
idea.
The
happening?
Korean church
Oh,
on
it's
where?
just empty, they left.
Green
Oh, on
church?
Greenway.
Yeah, no, I know it's
Really?
there. Did it close?
It was
I don't
purchased
know.
and
It
they
was
moved
purchased, or
out,
they
they
haven't.
moved out May 31st. We don't know, haven't received any plans for anything at this point as to what's going there, if anything, but yeah, it's empty right now.
Do we know who purchased
We know an LLC purchased
it?
it.
No,
Is that the one that's north of Park?
but that's not zoned.
Yes, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
What can you do with that lot?
it's zoned residential,
But
so
not,
they could tear it down and build some houses there.
yeah, but not a apartment building.
Not
No, it's not, that's not zoned multifamily, it's zoned single family residential. It's the RA district, so it's the largest lots in the community.
So will all those families that used to, because they were pretty active, right? And a lot of kids and stuff that came to.
Yeah, they consolidated with another Korean Presbyterian church, I believe, do you remember?
Was not in town.
No, I feel like it was in Wheeling.
Oh, wow. So we
Yeah.
lost. So that's kind of a shame in
Yeah.
some ways, some diversity kind of went out
Yeah.
the door.
You know, Esther Lee, who is the pastor of the Methodist Church, the North Shore United Methodist, the one that's right at Greenleaf and Hazel, so just east of here. Said, this was in a conversation before any of this had happened, but it was somewhat recently, that they're not. Cause I said, like, should we be reaching out differently? How do we, and she said, now it makes a lot more sense because they were clearly planning to leave, but. She said that their efforts as a church to church had not really been very successful, and that it was her impression that they were a little bit more, like, I don't wanna use, I'm not trying to not frame it negatively, like insular, like they weren't interested in folding it in any meaningful way, that was just sort of the tradition and.
They may
And
have, population may be bigger.
admittedly, they were, most of their congregation did not live here. So
Right.
they were, and I think that added a bit to
So
kind
maybe
of
there are
how.
more in Wheeling or.
We did receive an email from a representative from the church. Just letting us know that they were closing, and they basically said, thank you for being a great neighbor for us, and so.
Sorry, going. Maybe to the good. Great, thanks for explaining
Yeah, thanks.
that a little more.
Next on the last item is to adjourn, may I please have a motion to adjourn the meeting?
So moved.
Second.
Voice vote, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, any opposed? Good job, guys. Good meeting, good meeting, good meeting.